So over the years, as I've been reporting, guys, there have been multiple people who I haven't always, reported by name because these are people that live very close to me, and some of the people involved in the case are people that I can't put out there. But there have been people that, and this is hit very close to home, that have been killed by gang members when their cars have been shot up because they thought that the car was the car of a rival gang member. Now, in a lot of these cases, they couldn't see who's inside the car. So, do they say, well, maybe it might be the wrong person, so we're going to not shoot it up just in case? No, they just go ahead and they shoot it up and kill a completely innocent person. Now, over the weekend, we had several females, young females, killed or now in critical condition on the west side. And, this is something that I could report on practically every weekend. These gangs out here are being super bogus, man. I mean, you guys have no idea. Like, you guys who follow this stuff online, you really have no idea. And it's not just with the females, the guys. I had reported on a guy over the summer. His name was Brandon. He was a student, I believe, at Lakeview High School. And he was a young black guy. He was walking around the northwest side. This has happened pretty much almost every time that I've heard about it on the north side or the west side. Somebody's coming around and he's confronted by some guy who doesn't even seem like he knows the person. Guy's like, where you from, blah blah blah. He doesn't say anything because he's not on that. Turns around, walks away, and the guy just shoots him and kills him. Now this was a guy who, like, I know had nothing going on. Was in school studying in college to be some type of electrical something or other, like a technician with acoustic equipment, like for the music industry and stuff like that. Like, had nothing going on, didn't gangbang. Probably at least half the males, okay, the guys, like I'm talking about the young black or Hispanic guys that you see their pictures up there, like on these websites, they had nothing going on, man. Like, people I see in the comments talking about, well, if he lived that life, he had it coming or whatever. Like, people just assume that they were with it. If it's a young black or Latino guy, like, probably half of them don't have nothing going on. And it's just, mistaken identity, wrong place, wrong time, standing next to the wrong guy. You guys have no idea how bogus these gangbangers are being out here, like, really. So, we had a 15-year-old girl on the west side in Little Village, actually southwest side, okay, in Little Village over the weekend, who was now in critical condition after a shooting Saturday night. And the teen girl was sitting in the passenger seat of a parked vehicle at about 9:45 p.m. over on 21st Street, okay, over by, like, I think 21st and a couple blocks west of Kedzie, when she heard shots. She wasn't able to communicate the details of the incident because of her injuries, so she didn't say anything to the police, but she was shot in the chest and back, and she might not make it, okay, 15-year-old girl. Okay, another 17-year-old girl died after she was found shot inside of a home in Lawndale on the west side. Authorities responded about 4:20 a.m. to the 1200 block of South Kedvale, so that's that's like Roosevelt and Kedvale, and found the teen girl with a gunshot wound to her chest. Okay, she was taken to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. And the girl was identified as a girl named Demira, and that was according to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. They were unable to immediately determine the circumstances of the shooting. There was another woman, 26 years old, who was shot inside of a car. She was killed in Garfield Park on the west side. This was in the 700 block of North Hamlin, about 1 block south of Chicago Avenue. And she was struck twice in the head, and doesn't say that there were any other passengers in the car, and she died. So there was also a 17-year-old boy. Now, this kid, I don't know if he had anything going on or not, but he was fatally shot Sunday on the northwest side. He was in the 5900 block of West Fullerton, and he suffered a gunshot wound to the body. He was pronounced dead at the scene. So there's a debate right now, you guys know, as I've just recapped. Chicago is an extraordinarily dangerous place for women and girls. One of the most dangerous places for them is on the L, okay? And for those of you guys who don't know, when I say the L, that's how we refer to, like, the public transportation, like, train that they have over here. I don't know what they refer to it as in other cities. In Chicago, we just call it the L. So this is a very dangerous place for women. They get sexually harassed. They're in all types of danger over there. It's a dangerous place, period, like, especially at night. If you're riding that, especially that red line, you're riding that thing at night, it can definitely go down on there. The cameras are not really, I mean, they might be a deterrent for some people, but some guys are continuing to do stuff even with the cameras. I've reported on all the shootings that have gone on at the north side. in Uptown, up off of the in the once you get like probably north of Lawrence, like around Lawrence Wilson stops over there. It gets definitely goes down over there. The Argyle stop has had a number of shootings over there. So it's kind of being discussed right now in like the Chicago underground urban media, like solutions for women to make them feel safer riding the public transportation system. And one idea that's being floated is to have women only cars on the L. Now, a survey was taken of women, and about 85% of the respondents, and these were all female respondents, were in support of having female only cars. Okay, so cars that would only be accessible to females, guys wouldn't be able to get on the cars. Now, how they would enforce this, I don't know. How they would prevent a guy from just walking on there, I have no idea. They might have to hire extra security. But the women that were against it were saying that, well, first of all, the funding, they felt like that funding could be used better in other places, just repairing tracks, and there's plenty of other places where the CTA needs funding, but they were saying that it might make females feel more awkward when they, can't ride the female-only cars and have to ride the regular cars, or they might be made to feel like they're being forced to ride the female cars, and then in a situation where they got to ride the regular cars, it's going to be like practically all guys on there, and that's going to make them feel even more unsafe. So they were bringing up various reasons about why they were for or against it. Well, I think one of them was saying that it's going to like normalize inequality on the train or whatever. My advice to women: if you're riding the train, you got to just be like with somebody else. I mean, that's the bottom line. At night, you know what I mean? Like if you're going during rush hour, high commuting hours when the train is packed and stuff, I really wouldn't trip about it then. I wouldn't like think of that as an unsafe time. But it's when you got to take the L back at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, taking that red line, taking that blue line, that green line. It gets dicey. So I would not be on there alone at that time. You know what I'm saying? 2, 3, 4 people at that time. And if you can't take it with those many people, like I would just take an Uber or something else. It's worth the extra money because extra vulnerable, man. Like I've talked to a lot of dudes who say that gets very dangerous. So yeah, for the females, as far as the female only cars, I would think that would not be such a good idea. I think that funding should be, just put towards more security. Just have dudes. I mean, shout out to the Guardian Angels. People who don't know what that is, it's like a grassroots organization that basically just provides security on L platforms. But have some type of hired security by the city. Use the funding in that way because the female-only cars. The lady that was saying that it's going to make it weird, like when a woman wants to get on the regular train car, then she has a point. You know what I mean? Like that's going to make it even less safe. Like you're going to be the only female in a car of all guys. Like when it's packed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's going to be awkward. I think more security is the best way to go for that funding. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And as far as like riding in a car, if you're a female, well, actually, if you're anybody that doesn't gangbang, I would not get tinted windows because like when guys shoot up the cars and they don't see who's inside the car, like if they can see you inside the car, then at least they know that you're not the guy they want. Now if you're a gangbanger, it's better to have tinted windows. But if you're not, like why would you have tinted windows when you might be mistaken for somebody who has that same car who they're into it with? You know what I'm saying? Like this happens on the regular. So you're making your situation more dangerous if you got the tints. To be honest, like plus it's a magnet for the cops. Like the cops pull over cars that got tints. I wouldn't do it. It's a waste of money. I get the feeling of like not wanting to feel like you're in a fishbowl, like everybody looking at you in there, and you want your privacy or whatever. But man, them gangbangers ain't gonna give you no privacy when they shoot that car up. Period. Forget the tints. That's a dangerous thing to do in Chicago. Plus, if you take my advice, like I recommend getting a car that no gangbanger in his right mind would want to get. I mean, the kinds of cars they're trying to get. The Dodge Chargers, the Challengers, the '87 Oldsmobile Cutlass with the chrome rims and the hydraulics on there. Like you don't want a car like that, okay? You want a car that like more desirable to females. Cars that generally are just not considered like hard. So if you see a car, that a gangbanger that in your neighborhood might have or whatever, and you like that car, you want that car too, I mean, do what you want, but you're playing with your life if you do that because there's so many guys out here that are just gonna gun at you from a distance. But the cars that like nobody in the streets, nobody in the streets really wants. That's like an added level of security. Because I mean, you look at like some of these muscle cars. These muscle cars are like targets, man. You don't want to put them in that position. Drive a car that like nobody has. That's the way I look at it, man. This is your boy Winnie City Report. I'm out.